There are just literally thousands of publications made in the world today regarding American Indian people, and so much of it is incorrect. So much of it is thoughtless and patronizing, and it causes division. Nihita neti da ayas benda nihita kinigin leta achinyas da nit luneta ay hadikat in ta dan kisdinit Eishi ei hände ol tapatlaas aagoshi ei hadikat hatishi benda yendan kinigi bida hosa ha jodi gata ta tohli nde di kahashi egoshi ei hadibe akinda ti talo be inata ti nik dan kisni ei hayendan hinestra in the traditional teachings of our Dene, one of the very first things that our people encourage their children to do is to go to school and to participate in the learning. But in our language, when we encourage our children to go to school, and the way that they told me was which is to tell me, that I had to get an education, or I had to learn things that needed to be known. So it was that we were directed into pursuing an education. But there's a lot to the history of the educational process of the Dene, especially when you think back in the history of when our people signed a treaty with the United States of America. It was in 1868. And one of the provisions of the treaty that the government promised was that for every 30 students there would be a school teacher, and the school that would be provided if we, as the NE, would send our children to these schools. And for my side of the family, and my family, my mother only went 2 years of school. And then that was in St. Michael's. It was a Catholic school. And then my father went 8 years down in Fort Apache. Now that one there, with the 8-year program, they would go down there for 4 years, and then they'd let them come home for a period of time, and then they would take them back again for 4 years. And so he had a fairly decent education as far as reading and some of the things that they needed to know. But there was other things in that took place. And that was the, for myself, I was 2 years behind. And it was mainly because my family saw that I was very good with the livestock, how to take care of the sheep and how to take care of the horses and the cattle and that our family had. And since I was very useful in that way, they said, that was comparable to having an education. That if I would take care of the livestock, they would take care of me. And that was pretty much what I was told. And so I worked with the animals. But after a period of time, of course, they eventually caught us, my being not sent to school, and the government insisted that I attend school. And so it was that I eventually went to school. And so the teaching of our people, and which I shared with our viewers before, is my great-grandmother. She spoke several languages, and I remember when she was very elderly, she cleaned up the hogan and she fixed us a meal, and there was about 8 or 9 of us grandkids that were visiting with. They were very young, and she set up the food on the floor, and she says, "Before you eat, let me tell you this." And so she expressed her desire for us to learn, and to learn the English language, and then to go to school to do that. And it was that we eventually did pursue her advice. But the other thing about our people is that we have more than one grandmother. All of my birth grandmother had sisters, and all of those women would be my grandmother. So I had about 8 or 9 grandmothers because of that. And the younger ones of my real grandmother's sisters, they went to school. And so one of them happened to have gone to the 8-year program, and she was very educated as far as being able to read and knowing what was going on in the world. And I used to herd sheep with her when I was very young, and she always had some reading material. And so she would read to me from newspapers and other publications and so on. And so I was exposed to that particular concept of learning. And I became very curious as far as being able to read. And she showed me how the alphabet worked. And then, of course, later on to getting to pronouncing some of the letters and that would be involved in learning how to read phonetically. And so I took the time to learn, and I went to a school where I had some very good teachers in English and English literature and history. And basically those were my favorite subjects. But I always remember one of my teachers always encouraged me to read the various classics. And so I was exposed to Shakespearean work and many of the great authors and so on that have published some very classic type of work. And so I have read all of the various classics and that. And it's important to know these things. And so from my early childhood and even into the years now, I read selectively. I'm very careful on what I choose to read as far as history and the history of our people. There's so many publications, thousands of them really, I can't even say, but there's so much that are written about Native American people that people in general have the wrong idea. They think that an American Indian is just one tribe that has occupied all this land and they all speak the same language and they all live in teepees. That's not so. And of course, the other thing is that if they begin to read some of the literature in that is out there, they say that Indian people lived in huts or in dugouts. This is so very misleading, so thoughtless. And whoever published these books and that they are using to teach our children that our people were just roaming around all over the place. They don't understand that our people traveled for various reasons. And the other thing is that our people were hunters and gatherers, and ignoring the idea that our people knew how to plant all different types of foods, and corn and beans and squash and even peanuts and so many other types of food that had to be planted and cultivated and eventually harvested. And the ceremonies and that we have after the harvest season, these things are very important. They indicate to us, these were very special, very civilized civilizations and that our people lived as people. And the younger people don't understand this. And if you don't know how to read, not only the printed material, but you have to be able to read the cursive. And that's the idea of handwritten records and that documents that were made way back when even the Treaty of 1868 is written in cursive and longhand, and that's important. Then you get down to the Declaration of Independence and some of these other documents and that are so very important. You have to know how to read cursive, and you have to be able to write in that form. There is a lot of information in that is put in print, but you have to be very selective on the things that you read. There's so many different misleading information, and various historians, even in this time, there's a lot of misinformation in that is being published in that, and it's not right. And I encourage our young people to learn how to read and to do the reading, and that is so necessary to know how to do, to know about our people. And hopefully that some of our young people can begin to make some of these corrections and write correct information and publish them and make them available to our next generation of the net. And so I've always been encouraged to learn how to read. I think that in the language of our people, is what they used to tell us. And that means learn, and learn how to read. And those are the things that we are told.
Hey, thanks for watching our videos. If you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss one of our uploads. Also, head over to our website, NavajoTraditionalTeachings.com. Sign up for our email list. Okay.